Hey guys, wanted to do a quick update on the M1 Finance portfolio that I posted a while back. So, 2 months ago, I made a post called How I Use M1. It's actually got way more reception than I thought it would. So, it's at the top right now of all time, like almost double the next post. And I can tell a lot of people filter by the top post as soon as they get into a new subreddit because I'm still getting like comments 2 months later that are like, oh, this is great. I wonder how it's doing now, asking me how the portfolio is doing. So I've had probably like 10 or 20 people specifically ask me how it's working out for me now. So I wanted to do an update. I thought it would be easy to do a quick screen recording so I can show you guys rather than just do more screenshots. But if you have missed the post, pretty much it's just a really long, post. It goes over the whole strategy, what I look for stocks. It's all based around a dividend investing strategy. But it's what I look for when I sell, when I buy, how I keep track of them, and just basically lays it out. It got a ton of good feedback. Most people really enjoyed reading about it and wanted to see more from it. It's funny. I actually some people thought it was good enough that it was an advertisement. So sorry to disappoint. I'm not at all affiliated with M1. So I'm a fanboy of the platform, but I have nothing else to do with them as far as affiliation goes. But anyways, I wanted to give an update on where this is now because a lot of things have happened since then. In fact, let's go over to the current one. So right here, this is the current standing of the portfolio. So it's at 25,600, and it's inched up from 1,700 to 2,300, but it's had a journey in between. So mid-December, right? In fact, right as I was posting that, we started hitting rocky times in the market. The market dropped a lot. You can see that illustrated right here. It dropped down quite a bit, and none of this was from selling here. This part right here, that's a sell. I sold like 4,000 and paid off a car. I haven't sold anything since then. So this right here is all from the market going down, and my 1,700 that I had, here, almost went to zero. So I almost completely lost all of my gains. But I stayed true to the principles of the portfolio and the strategy that I put out. And none of my holdings, none of them stopped their dividends or cut their dividends. None of them had any core issues of any kind. So I kept all of them, and it recovered just with the market. This portfolio did not fall nearly as far as the market did. So, the bonds and a lot of the utilities and things didn't fall nearly as far as the general market. So it is a safer portfolio than the market, probably more conservative. You might trail the upside, but you'll definitely be more protected on the downside. And I saw that play out with this recent downturn. But anyways, the portfolio, honestly, people wanting to know how it's doing, there's not too much to update with it. I haven't made any sales since this portfolio here. So none of them are sold. I've just continually reinvested, continually put in more money. I put in about 2,000 months since then. I am adding two more holdings to the REITs and NOI, NRZ. And they're just two holdings that are like high yielders. They're a little bit more risky than the other ones, but they're not going to make up a big part of the portfolio. I'm just going to use them for cash flow. Other than that, the only notable thing I would say to mention is that when I posted this on the subreddit, it was pretty much $250 in dividends. Now I'm up to $450. In fact, if I go and I filter by the quarterly, which is the last 90 days, so just the last 3 months, $201 of the 455 in dividends, 201 is just in the past 90 days. So I've had this portfolio since December of 2017, and about 40% of my dividends have just come in the last 90 days. So that is the growth that I'm having with the dividends. As far as the strategy goes, the idea is to have these holdings broken up into lots of separate holdings rather than gathered up in an ETF. The reason why is if you have an ETF, you pretty much are guaranteed to have only 4 payments a year. They usually paid out quarterly. And that makes it so you don't have as much compounding there. You do have some compounding with it being 4-year, but with having them all separated like this, with M1 Finance, I can have every single pie have like a bunch of, sub holdings in it. And each of these have their individual schedules of when they have their ex-dividend dates and their payout dates. And the benefit of that is if you have enough capital, those payouts in and of themselves will be above $10, and that will be automatically reinvested. And so I can see that playing out a lot now. I have a dividend here for, let's see. Yeah, $10. Buys more Verizon. And then, 3 days later, the same thing, $14. And it's going to buy more Verizon as well. I just upped the amount that I wanted of Verizon. And I'm seeing this happen all the time. So each month I'll see multiple times that the $10 will be reinvested. One of the downsides is with M1, you need to have at least $10 for it to be invested. So if you have like $5, it's not going to be put back into your portfolio in cash. So I have 6 cents sitting there. So you have to have enough capital to make it so that you're continually getting over that $10 mark with your dividend payouts. So if you use this portfolio, but you only have like $5,000, it's unlikely that those dividend payouts are going to be over $10. You'd have to save up for like, an entire month just to hit the $10 mark. I did some basic calculations and I found that the sweet spot is anywhere from like $17,000 to $20,000. That's kind of where you get to the point where you're getting them on a weekly basis, those $10 payouts. So that's kind of the target you want to hit, is you want to race to where you're getting above 17,000. Then you'll notice those dividends are actually above $10 and they're meaningful enough to start compounding. So I've seen that play out, and the dividend growth is like completely exponential, as you can see here. Once I hit the 17,000 mark, I can see them go up like crazy. They're rolling in a lot faster now. As far as tracking the portfolio, you see on the post, I used a bunch of different graphs. So I can go there and I keep these on just a basic Google Drive. So you can see the numbers going down the sides, but pretty basic. I have one that's just my monthly dividends, and that's just how much I was paid out, not how much I earned. So I look at the statement and I see how much I was paid out. Each statement monthly has it. You have to wait till like the 3rd or 4th after the month until it's in the M1 portfolio account. But once you view your monthly statement, you can see how much you're paid to get a perfectly accurate number. And you can see that it's been trending upwards. I took a big dive here, but the important thing is if I look at January, I didn't have any dividends then, January of 2018. Now I got 25. Last month was a big month. I got $92. That's the high that I hit. But the trend is what matters. It doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. I don't make it so that my portfolio, I don't try to time payments. I just put in stocks that I think are good and fit those criteria, and then they pay as they pay. And that naturally is going to lead to more stocks paying out at different times than others. You can see a lot of them are grouped up here. There's not as many that pay out on, there's not as many that pay out January. So I'm going to see that happen, and I'm just going to track it quarter over quarter, month over month, and then the total portfolio value. So pretty basic. What I'll do, I think it's interesting, and I know a lot of people have, it's interesting to see other people's portfolios, how it performs in different market cycles, how it performs on the upturns and the downturns. And I think it's interesting too. So I thought I would share it with other people. I'll probably be updating this more frequently. So not all the time, not like, multiple times a week, but I'll probably put a video out like once a month or something and kind of show you what has happened since then for people that are interested or following the same type of investing strategy. So anyway, wanted to do a quick update. Hope you guys enjoy it. See ya.